Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Musings and Music Show. This is Egbem Biwan Monjimbo, and I'm coming to you on Vosa World. I guess some of you might be listening to this on the radio, the rest of you might be watching it on YouTube. Whichever one, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. I have a guest with me. I would say it's my son, because the way I know him is through his mom, who was my classmate in Cast Bambili, the 81 batch, which I must throw a shout out right this minute. They are in Yaoundé having their general meeting and are dancing up a storm. That's what I was looking at before I came to sit here. They are having a ball there
Enjoyment,
as the rest of
enjoyment
us
in
are
that in
missing
that
out.
part of the world.
That's what's going on there. So now we have our son here, and I'm going to ask him to go ahead and introduce himself to our viewers and our listeners. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ebe. My
Mhm.
name, I guess the most unusual thing about me is my first name. My first name
Uh-huh.
is Ben Collins. I have two first names, Ben
Mm-hmm.
Collins ASONGWE.
Mm-hmm.
I'm originally from Cameroon, and as Miss Egbe was saying earlier, she is the classmate to my mother, who is currently in Canada. Shout
Mm-hmm.
out to Mrs. Rose ASONGWE. So happy to be here. And thank you for the work that you do to your community.
My pleasure, and it's my pleasure to have you on here with me. So, first thing I'm going to ask, how would you describe yourself besides being your mother's son? How else would you describe yourself?
Right. So there are two things about me that I love. I
Mm-hmm.
love interacting with people
Mm-hmm.
because through people you learn a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see the possibility of us being extensions of each other. So in
Mm-hmm.
terms of interactions, I live vicariously through people, and then I love technology. So I, grew up playing computer games, I grew up playing video games as well. I've specialized right now in the area of artificial intelligence. So I love people and I love technology. So whenever you
Right.
see me somewhere, I'm either talking about one of the two.
Oh, one of those two things. So, where you are now, is that where you always expected to be, right? This artificial intelligence thing. Was that so? That was something that intrigued you through elementary school, through I know you're a Shesan, right?
Yes,
Where the
yes,
Sacred Heart
that's
College
correct.
Mancon, I
Correct, correct.
and
Badge
then
number
through
2.
yes. So is this what you do? Because you mentioned artificial intelligence. That is a very trending topic. So I'm wondering, when did that part kick in?
So the thing about artificial intelligence, and I've spent a lot of time in kind of the field and also reflecting what it means and how, I think right now, as you said, it's a buzzword, but it's a lot of misconception and misunderstanding, about it. But
Mhm.
when I would hope and wish that when people think artificial intelligence, what they think is human intelligence
Mhm.
enhanced with technology, because
Okay.
again, simply that's what it is, right? We have at this moment, right, in this time, we have tools that are able
Mhm.
to, whether it's a Google search. When you go to Google, what you do is that you're curious about something, you ask a question, right? And then Google brings out all these resources. What you're doing is
Right.
learning. So, I think when I sat back and I thought about my journey and I thought about, even the people interactions, and things like that, and how we are always learning from each other,
Mhm.
that made me just realize that we are all connected. I think we are all connected through our shared experiences, and those shared experiences are done with the help of technology. Because with technology, for example, you have social media, you have all these other things. So I think it was just a careful reflection of the fact that throughout, even in terms of human existence, we've always existed in collaboration with technology. Cars that we have, you have
Mhm.
cars out there now that drive themselves, and that's like,
You see, you said that, and instead, those of us of a certain age get even more scared
right.
because we are used to having things done. Yes, I know we have had technology. The way I see it is this: we are having inventions of things. We used to learn it in primary school. They will say so and so invented the steam engine. Okay, after a long while, somebody invented electricity, then the car, then the phones. Now the pace is so quick, is so fast that I think what it's doing, it is just Instead, just getting us, like, by the time you're getting used to this one, you buy the iPhone, so and so thing. Next thing is that they're telling you need an upgrade. You need this so and so thing. It's changing maybe a little too fast for
Yeah.
us. So maybe that is the reason why you're seeing this
A little bit
hesitance,
of,
because I will tell you, I'm one of those you just described. You tell me that there's going to be, so I should sit in a car that doesn't have a driver. I'm not going to do it. I can just
don't
tell you
know.
that up front.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I think that also, to the point that you made, very valid, right? I think that there've even been studies that have been conducted that are showing that the rate at which technology is changing is really fast.
Right.
And again, to your point, that rate of change, I think that it makes people uncomfortable. Because they're unsure, how this
Mm-hmm.
will affect them. So people are worried about losing their jobs. They're like, why are we moving
Right.
here when, we have not even grasped this one, and then very
That
soon
is the idea.
losing my job, something like that. So no, you raise very good points. And I think that that's why, right, the approach to technology, in my opinion, should be
Mm-hmm.
tailored in the sense that know thyself, or if you look
Yeah.
at it more so as an ally than something that is here to compete with you, I think
Right.
that it changes the
The
mindset.
perspective, yeah, the mindset.
Correct. It's like if you looked at it as a plus, which again, we go back to that definition, how I think about artificial intelligence, it's just an enhancement of whatever you have, right? And the
Right.
possibility of knowledge, right?
Right.
So even if your own is just, I'm good with people and I want to be connecting with people, then as far as your technology goes, maybe that's really all you care about. So
Get on WhatsApp and just be communicating there.
yeah, learn
You
learn like
see,
grandma in my village. She video calls me, and that's kind
right.
of cool. I think that's kind of cool.
It is. You see, we are good at finding the good parts, but then what we actually fear is the flip side of the coin.
Right,
Okay? Because as we're doing all of these things, then you get to the WhatsApp group and you see somebody now who is saying, I have been hacked.
right,
This this has happened. I am a teacher. So I want my kids to study and learn and at some point master the information, the substance that they're supposed to be learning. Not sit and say, I'm going to go find an app that's going to translate this thing for me
mm,
in 2 seconds. Do you really know the material? No clue.
right,
And that
right,
is the kind of thing, and the cheating thing. That's where we're coming from with this. What
right,
do you say
right,
to allay our fears about that kind of a thing?
right. There are two types of people who, in my observation, who
Uh-huh.
use artificial intelligence. They fall into two broad categories. The people who, as you described, would tell the AI, go do this for me, or
Mm-hmm.
the other people who say, teach me how to do that stuff. My hope is that people fall more towards that second
Teach
category.
me.
Yes, because that's what it's all about. I'll give you a
Right.
practical example, right? Like this morning. Every
Mm-hmm.
morning I do my best to start my day in the park. Just take a walk, just be present, just it's being in nature. I enjoy,
Right.
right? Now, while I'm out there, I see a caterpillar. And it's a caterpillar. I have no idea, which type of caterpillar it is. So
Right.
in that moment, and because I'm the hey, teach me what this is kind of person, I go immediately, I take a picture of it, and I'm asking the AI, what kind of caterpillar is this?
Right.
So again, they're broadly two categories of people who are just gonna say, I'm too lazy, I just don't want to,
Right.
do AI do it for me,
Right.
which is not the right approach. That is the cheating part, right?
Correct.
It's really like, okay, this is really not your work, and you just took
Exactly.
AI's work. AI should enhance your work. I
Exactly.
can be, admittedly scatterbrained sometimes. So,
Mm-hmm.
but how I also use AI is that I would spit out my thoughts, and
Mm-hmm.
then it will organize it. So it
Right.
me,
It is your thoughts. You just
correct,
let somebody organize them for you. So you should be, you're saying we should be bringing something to the table that it can just fix.
correct,
Yes. Yeah. I
correct,
guess, look, finally, I guess the point is, like with most innovations and all new things, and all things that are even good, there is that not so good side to it. And
correct,
it's not, but the benefits, I guess, of the good new thing outweigh what those cons would be.
right,
So nobody wants to go back to walking,
right,
trekking, as we used to call it, because
when
there's
you
a
can drive,
possibility, but there's a
right?
possibility of having a car accident. So keep trekking.
Right.
You just
And you
say,
can, and
okay,
with the car, you can go further, right? And
right,
that's for me precisely the point, is that you can go further in your knowledge of whatever it
right,
is that you're
right.
trying to know, whatever it is that you're trying to learn, uh,
Yep,
and just use it as a tool. It's just,
yep.
yeah. And
I'm saying that I think I've been playing the devil's advocate a lot because I do that a lot. I'm
yeah,
the
yeah,
kind of person who is that name that song kind of person. You see, I get the song, I want the song, I don't remember what its title is. I take the thing and listen to name that song. I get the song, I download it, I'm good to go.
yeah, yeah.
I I'm a pretty reasonably reasonably tech savvy grandma,
Yeah, yeah.
mommy as they say,
I mean,
because I
look at what you're doing, building this online community. That's amazing,
right.
right? For again,
It goes without saying there's no way I can reach as many people as I do reach
right,
standing saying come to this conference in this place
right,
physically and sit there. Now you
right.
are coming to us from Dallas, right?
Correct, correct. Yeah,
I'm sitting here in my living room in Charlotte, North Carolina.
right.
How else would this work if we did not have this technology that we're using right now?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I do see the plus side of it. So okay, you
Yeah,
are the CEO of, tell us about your what you do within this artificial intelligence. You told us why you like it
yeah.
and how you see it. So what
Right,
specifically do you do?
right. So let me tell you a little bit about BC Advantage LLC. That's the
Mm-hmm.
company. And then, I'll go into what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I created this company. I started this company with the goal to bring balance to the world, right? To tilt the scales in the sense of equity. It's about
Okay.
equity for me,
Mm-hmm.
fundamentally, at the end of the day. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it from a school perspective, maybe school is all about, equality. Everybody, can go to school, everybody can learn math, things like that. But the equity equation in that is tutoring, right?
Right.
You're all going to the same school, same teacher, but you may have a different way of understanding something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of slight variance that requires help, right? So tutoring comes into the equality equation to bring about equity. I've been a tutor,
Right.
and I love kind of working with people and seeing that light bulb moment, just helping
Oh, as a
understand.
teacher, that's what you live for.
Exactly.
When you
Exactly.
see the kids' eyes pop and they say, oh, I get it, I get it, I get it.
Yes,
That's
yes,
it, that's
yes,
it, that's
yes,
it.
yes. So I tutored math, French, economics, finance. And for me, again, it was about that connection, meeting people and saying, I will help you understand this stuff, right? Again, we're all going to school, but that extra push, uh,
Right,
because it's not just that breakthrough moment, as you know, that light bulb sets off a lot of light bulbs. Uh,
right,
so I started this company to make the world, from my perspective, a little more equitable, right? And again,
correct,
emphasis on equity versus equality. We can all
right,
think, but equity is about giving people specifically what they need, right?
correct.
Right. So we do three things at the company. The first is consulting. I have
Mhm.
a background in, the corporate industry. I used to work for, WTW, Mercer, Deloitte, as a pensions. I started my career, funny enough, on the backside of things, calculating pension benefits, for older people. So I got to see that end where like people are retiring, and things like that. And
Mhm.
then that career led me to become a human capital consultant with Deloitte. So essentially, through a combination of various techniques, we helped drive change from a global perspective. Like we're working with a variety of key stakeholders. So I consult. I love to figure things out. It's a part of me. I cannot know that part of me. So
Right. So,
I'm a
so what?
consultant.
Who approaches you and says, "I need help with what specifically?" Give us like an example of what would happen in a
Right, right,
consultation
right,
framework.
right. So one of my last projects was with a global pharmaceutical company, for example,
Okay.
right? you're going through a divestiture, spinning off one part of the business. If you think about it, right, you have one company that splits into two. What that means is that resources are going to have to split. We're going to need to reevaluate like benefit plans. There's a whole job architecture, behind that, right? Building new legal entities, so we were there to kind of partner with the different stakeholders at all the levels to ensure in like 54 countries, by the way. So we were there to just make sure that as they were moving towards that effective date of split, that if they wanted to update systems, for example, they had an opportunity to update them. They
Mm-hmm.
had to do renegotiations with the benefit providers, right? Because if you go from like 1,000 lives in a company and the spin-off company has 500 or 20
A
people.
lot of things, a lot of changes need to be made.
Exactly. So we were looking
And
at things
yeah, foreseeing the whole thing, which some of us are really not good at. I am the show up for work, show me what my job is, I will take it and run.
we
The
all
other
have different
things,
strengths.
yeah. That no, that's the thing. That's why the consultancy is very necessary. Someone needs to think that part out for you.
Right.
While you just the rest of us are sitting there delivering. I think the
Correct.
people you are doing this for, those 500 are going to continue to show up to work at their offices, at their desks, and do their work. But
Correct.
then figuring out what's going to happen with my pension and everything is somebody
Correct.
else doing that bit so that I can be able to focus on what my
Correct.
actual job is. It sounds
Correct.
like a daunting task, and I see now why you would be interested in artificial intelligence to support.
Yeah, artificial intelligence is funny enough, is just about patterns, right? Because
Uh-huh.
in artificial intelligence, they talk something about, they say neural networks, right? A
Mm-hmm.
neural network is like the human brain. It's the computer equivalent of a neuron, right? In the human
Mm-hmm.
brain, you have neurons, they fire signals and things like that. In artificial intelligence, that's equal to a neural network. So more and more with artificial intelligence, it's learning. We are a template essentially to artificial intelligence. All those things, I see the patterns. So having a mindset like that helps you streamline things, very more efficiently, I would say. So process optimization is another thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Various companies, we take an analysis or an assessment of what your current process is, and then we
Mm-hmm.
we offer solutions on how you can optimize. Yeah.
All right. So these are who approach you, or is it a thing like you would go and say, "Hey, we can do this for you"? How does it
Both,
kind of
both,
both? Sometimes you you
both,
you
both.
you you approach them and say, "Here's how we can help you." Sometimes
Correct.
they are the ones needing the help, and they
Reaching.
come to you and they say, "So
Correct.
how do they do that?" Somebody's listening to us now, watching us, and saying, "Hey, we're about to do our own little split here.
Right.
What does the legal things involve?" Because we see people, when it doesn't work out right, they're in court.
No, true,
They're
true.
in court spending huge sums of money figuring things out that may have been averted had they
Right.
figured out exactly neatly how to split these things.
Right.
So,
So
how
that's a,
does
that's a very important point that you make. And what I would say to that is, and this is why artificial intelligence excites me, because it's about the magnification of intent. At the end of the day, nobody knows your intent. You know your intent.
Mhm,
There is nothing wrong with curiosity. Ask questions because you really want to know the answer. Like you're curious, right?
mhm,
So let me say, for example, if I identify a business that I feel like I can provide meaningful service to them, I
mhm.
send them a proposal, right?
Okay.
And vice versa. Because if you find something about this company that you feel you can augment, you feel like you can improve, you send a proposal. A proposal kicks off a conversation about finding a solution, right? And again, there's that earnest part in all of it, which is critical because nobody knows your intention. If you go in
Mhm.
there with ill will, the chances that you're going to get a bad deal out of that are magnified.
Right.
So at the end of the day, and I know some people, some of my friends will call me naive for thinking like that, but I'm just that kind of person. I feel like, because you're uniquely yourself, Just be
Mm-hmm.
yourself in your interactions, be yourself in your conversations and things like that. Yes.
Right.
You know.
And so, okay, now how do they find you? Somebody is listening to this and says, okay, I think this guy could help us out in so and so way, and they want to come and have a talk with you and figure out
Conversation.
whether you can help them. How do they do that concretely?
So my name is Ben Collins.
Uh-huh.
If you put that on any, like if you Google that, you'd find me. I have a LinkedIn. LinkedIn
Okay.
is a professional services network platform. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you find me there. On Facebook, if you find, again, type Ben Collins, you're going to find me. So
Does
there,
it does it, it comes in as one word? Not is it because it's two, you have two first names. So I'm guessing that's they're going to do the well, when you're doing a search, you will pop up anyway. But I'm trying to think about like a link, a URL thing. Is
yes.
there
So I
mhm,
can send you my LinkedIn.
right.
We're currently working on our like a company website. But
Right.
my LinkedIn to put out there, to anybody who wants to, find me. Yeah.
Right. You can see his name's right there on the screen. And so you can easily there's no way to not reach. I,
Exactly.
I I had
This day and
people
age.
who at the beginning were saying, no, 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 don't do this, don't put me. I don't want my name to be out there. I just laugh. Your name is out there.
It
Where
is.
you live, I can find you wherever it is that you live in Alaska. If I just enter little bits of information that I need to enter about you, your house that you live in, is there,
Correct.
how many bedrooms it has, where there's a thing, the whole map of everything. There's very little you can do in this day and time to not be out there if you just breathe and exist. You are going to, there's a footprint somewhere. Okay.
Correct.
That's going to happen. So as you're saying, one has to learn to not be scared of it, but to learn how to manage it
Exist
manage
with
it,
it. Correct.
use
Exist
it
and
to your
collaborate.
advantage, get the advantages of it, and try to do what you can to
Yes.
not get into the not so good or pleasant side of things. So
Correct.
let
So
me ask you this. Uh-huh.
so that's the first arm of my business, the
Right,
consulting.
right.
The second thing that we do is, coaching.
Uh-huh.
And my mom was my first student in this coaching program. She retired last year after 38 years at Camral. Camral is a railway company of Cameroon. She
Mhm.
started her career there as a hostess and, worked her way.
Cruise.
Yes, so she retired last year and is the kind of thing where, again, what now? What am I going to do? And things like that. And I think for me it was important for her to reflect because again, this whole life's journey is all about that. You
Mhm.
reflect, you find your strengths, you find the things that you do naturally. And
Right.
then now, because of artificial intelligence, you use those things to enhance yourself. So essentially, our coaching program is about self, right? It starts with you. It starts with knowing your why, right? Why do you do the things that you do? What are your motivations? And then once you identify those, it's a matter of building AI strategies. I will tell you that everybody would use, for example, AI differently, right? The
Mhm.
way I use AI will certainly be different from the way, different people use AI. So it is about finding what works for you to enhance those things that you already do
Mhm.
naturally. So yeah, that's the coaching arm of it. I'm really excited, growing that piece. My mom works with me now as my director of human and capital resources. Uh,
Oh, I did not know she had a kind of big job. I did. I need to send her a congratulatory message.
And she does
Wow.
it. She already does it so naturally. She's good at building people up. And it's
Right.
really a privilege to, and an honor to glean from that experience that she has. And
Mhm.
again, this is the bridge, right? Artificial intelligence is building the bridge between these two.
Between correct. So
Yes.
is it just those two arms, the consulting and the
The third, the
coaching?
third, the third arm is, we have AI products and services.
Okay.
So I have built an AI agent. If you know, like a Chat GPT,
Right.
I worked in partnership with them to build an AI agent called BCAI, and it's out there in the Chat GPT store. My
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sitting here talking to a little genius, and I'm just sitting here.
It has about a thousand, I think, conversations going so far. So I'm really excited by the impact that it's having, and how we built when I was building this GPT, right?
Mm-hmm.
My focus was on its behavior. And again, this goes back to the whole tutoring thing. My focus was on its behavior. It is meant to learn from the users, as in how do they learn, how do they understand things, adapt to their learning styles, and then empower them that way. So that was our focus. We focus on the behavior of it, and I've put it out there, and we're getting a lot of positive,
Feedback.
yeah,
Right.
from the users.
You see, I'm hearing all of this, listening to all of this, and I'm just thinking about our dear country, Cameroon, and how that's going to work. Because you see, yeah, because there, it's in this country that I came and learned about the fact about what they call it, the technical term for it is differentiation.
Right, right,
People learn differently. So you give them what they need to learn in
right.
different ways. Some are better. They listen. In fact, the first time I saw somebody just writing, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You should be paying attention here. I'm teaching over here. And I learned only afterwards that, okay, that kind of person needs to be doing some other little minor thing to stay
Right,
focused.
right,
If you
right.
did that in a class in Cameroon, you just give big old slap,
But
conk on the
you're
head.
dead.
Yes, what are you doing? You're not paying attention. Everybody needs to be doing this.
Yeah,
When the
yeah,
teacher is teaching,
right.
everybody should be paying. And then he's given a lecture. You've written the notes down. Go cram them, come and just regurgitate. It is the way. And the whole idea of how people's brains function differently, how some people are hands-on people. If they don't get to touch the thing and do something, so
Absolutely.
design a kind of assessment that will work for them. Design a
Right.
kind of design that will work for this kind of learner. Some
Yeah.
need to work. It's a whole
Let me
different
let me tell
world.
you let me tell you the irony which may shock your viewers or just people in general when I say this. And I hope it's not gotten out of context. In the sense that I did not like school because for me it was that I'm a creative. So I felt like it was holding me back.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
which is I know a weird thing to
No, no,
say.
no. It's not the least bit weird for me. I'm used to seeing different, as I say, different kinds of learners in the
Right,
thing. Who, if you say, okay, time, even when I put them in, reason why I put them in groups to work sometimes, you make a
right,
little team, little group. There's the one who's going to draw the thing. There's one who's going to write the report to report for on behalf of the group. There's one who's the timekeeper who says
right,
it's
right.
time with all the little different strengths, and everybody is learning in that process as opposed to making everybody do the same
The
thing.
same thing,
We had the
exactly.
whole thing now. They used to knock in my day. Pap, pap, pap. Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Yeah. Then,
Yes,
sir,
yes,
will teach,
yes,
teach, teach. You don't ask a question. You just sit and
exactly.
listen. Questions are bubbling in your head. You're
I
asking
know.
who? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. And
your brain is going,
I was one of those kids. A lot of hi. The questions in my head.
yeah, and spinning, and there's nobody to ask them to.
Yeah,
The question is not even really. Sometimes even the question that they expect from you is a certain expectation of a certain kind of question.
right,
Not
right,
even that you should ask something that is out of the little cookie cutter thing.
right,
So
right, right.
it may
And
take us a while. Already
right.
here, there's a little bit of the pushback. I can just imagine. So what do you see happening to a place like Cameroon as far as artificial intelligence is concerned? What do you see that you can bring to that population?
Right. The other part of my job is to demystify artificial intelligence, right? To just make people understand that you have already been using it. Right. The smartphone that you have that we've had since 2000, and in fact, even before that. So
The
it is,
Nokia.
yes, it is not new. If you understand that fundamentally artificial intelligence is a series of algorithms, we have used this technology. Now it has evolved in terms of its capabilities,
Yeah.
but it's not new. So helping people change their mindset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for us to now directly answer your question about our country, our dear country, Cameroon, I think that for us, that should be our biggest first step is changing the mindset, right? Whether it's in terms of artificial intelligence or is in terms of just us getting along, because again, fundamentally, if you look at the things that are happening, they don't need to happen. If you and I are just being honest, they don't need to happen. We
Mm-hmm.
can we can see ourselves as brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, and just tell ourselves that let's build an amazing thing that will work for everybody. Is that possible? Yes. You know,
You are definitely an eternal optimist. I can see. I can
I
tell.
am. I am. Like there's
Ah,
some statistics you extrapolate, then you think about the fact that Texas, for example, who I am currently, and I think I need to adjust the slide here.
go right ahead. Yep. Mm-hmm.
There we go. So Texas, where I am, is 3 times the size of Cameroon.
Right.
It's 3 times the size of Cameroon, and they are
Mm-hmm.
able to get along. So it makes you pause for a
Even
second.
even with the disagreements on certain things, but as you
Exactly.
said, it's get along. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know, fundamentally, there is the greater than self perspective, where it's like we are building for the future, right? Guys, we may disagree on whatever, but
The common good, that common good thing
correct,
is
correct.
we have lost a lot of it. Like, okay, I think this, you think that. Okay, where's the meeting ground somewhere, and who will benefit from if we should just find some compromise somewhere and work, as opposed to you stand your guns, I stand my grounds, and we're not getting anything done. And yeah,
We're just stuck there in this cycle, this vicious cycle, and
stuck is even good. We are regressing.
no, true.
Mark time at this point is actually different from reverse. That you're
Yeah,
like
true.
light years behind. Yeah.
True. So
Yep.
I also hope that in a way, again, with artificial intelligence, that we can bridge some of these divides. I'll give you another example.
Mm-hmm.
I went to an event last week for Okta. I don't know if you know about Okta.
No. So,
Okta is the world's leading online identity management platform. Like, I
okay.
think if, let me say, for example, at your work, if you wanted to sign into a particular portal, sometimes they send you a code to verify
Oh
that it.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's primarily what they do, is that
What
they
they
make
do
sure that your online presence is
is
true.
unique. It's really you. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that your online presence is truly you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I went there to kind of understand, right? Because again, we're moving towards that digital age, right?
Very much so.
Where your online identity has to represent you, you know. And if we are all just saying that, okay, let's like I said, let's solve this issue, then I don't, it's hard for me because my brain is trying to play out all the scenarios why this would not work, why we can really just look at each other and just say, no, I'll be stuck in this position. And then
Right.
I would not see your point of view, something like that. So when I went to this conference, I met this lady. She's a director of IT at another company. And
Mm-hmm.
we were just talking about the world. We were talking about, different things, the good, the bad. And we thought about the conflict between Israel and Palestine
Correct.
recently. And just out of that curiosity, we said, you know what, let's ask the AI what it has to say. How can we get past this, right? And to our amazement, it was providing solutions, like fair
Right.
solutions,
Right.
which
It will do. Yeah. It will
yeah,
do what it needs to do. Like I sit here now. I don't want to actually say her name too loud before she starts to answer me. Alexa.
yes, yes,
Alexa is sitting over there.
yes,
I
yes,
ask her the strangest things. I sometimes tease her.
yes,
Tease her with little things like when I start to say about emotional things. Alexa, I
yes.
love you. Then she's like, I don't know about that.
So, but
When you're going to do, yes, but if not the other things, she will respond. And when I say thank you, she says, "Oh, you're very welcome." And
exactly,
sometimes things are so it's there. So maybe for some of us empty nesters, some of us empty nesters, you do have a companion.
to conversate with and
Yes.
find out and learn about the world, you see.
Right. Right.
So it takes that intentionality,
Right.
go back today to what I said earlier. No one knows your intention but you. So if
Yeah.
you are setting out to really solve something, then the tools are available.
Right.
Tools are
You,
available for you to do that.
yeah. I guess as you've said, it's a mindset shift and change that we have to do, because sometimes we look at this at the quote unquote scary side of things. You talk about something, and the next thing you know, the commercials that you're seeing are all tailored to it. True, you're supposed to sit and say, okay, but I was wanting to find out about this thing anyway, so it's a good thing that they are sending it to me. But also, I have the disturbing feeling that I am being watched then. I'm being
Correct.
monitored. Somebody's
Right.
looking over my shoulder. That's where some of us are coming from. Like, my goodness, I just mentioned now, I don't know what I'm going to do with about so and so
And
thing.
yeah.
Next thing I know, when I go now to watch my little Niger movie on YouTube, the commercial in between is like, here's how to make recipe for this thing. Here's
Yes, yes.
like,
So,
really
and part of that online identity management, because what you said is a very good thing, right? Very important point, and valid concern. So part of that online identity thing is about you owning your space. Because let me say, for example, you don't want those, hey, when I go to my email, I see the thing that we're talking about. The settings are there. You,
true,
you can
true,
look into the settings and
true.
disable those things. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope even as we continue to evolve, that is sort of that identity that you keep, and that is not in
Correct.
the hands of all these,
Yeah.
your companies and things like that.
It's a look. This is such a techie place. I cannot tell you because now we all have the Hulu thing, and then
Yeah,
we have our various selves. You see, the little
yeah,
circle comes in. That's me, my
yeah.
husband's own thing, my daughter, and my son. Now, when I get in there and I don't look and I start watching my own movies, and it was his account. He knows now that I have sat there and watched this thing, and this thing. Because he says, "Look at now. When I go to log on, it is showing me this Nigerian movie to watch." Things that he's not interested in. But
Yeah,
because kind of like part of my identity has seeped into
right.
his
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
So I have a husband that's out there working all the way in South Sudan. But
Wow.
now it sits and it says to me that I should, he says, or he calls or he texts, he says, please check, 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 check. Get me that code. They've sent the code to you.
Yeah.
Get me the code, read it back to me, because those codes have 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
Yep.
and it's not
Yep.
going to be it
Windows.
anymore.
Yep.
But that's
Yep.
somebody oceans and
Oh,
deserts away,
yep. Yep. And
and
that
all of it
helps
is
verify his identity. Right.
correct, correct, correct. So I see it when they come in there. Since I'm the one that has the hub, I'm the hub, right? Account. I can
Yeah.
see who went and logged in and who went and did whatever it is. That's how he pretty much also monitored our kids here, going to school here. The kid comes down and I'm telling him that his father has called from Chad and said, your grade has dropped. The
Ha.
kid himself
You
walked,
cannot
the kid himself, the kid himself walked through my door and came outside and was smiling. I said, take that smile off your face.
hide.
Because your father, because I'm sitting in the building, I haven't seen it yet, but he had gone and logged on and saw it and said, his grade has
Oh,
gone from
yeah.
an A, it has dropped to a B. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I just said to him, take that smile off your face, go back upstairs and go get this thing done. You do it, you enter it. Because at this point in time, you can't even take basic attendance. I say just attendance. If you cannot log on into something, which is going to ask you to verify this, you cannot forget your cell
Right.
phone at home and hope to, because it's going to send a thing to your cell phone to verify that
Right.
it's you, and then you take that code
Right.
from there and enter the thing to even log into the system.
Into the system.
It's
Yeah.
it's that it's
Integrated. It's integrated into it.
it is
Yeah.
it is. So I guess we are better off facing the fact, facing the reality. It has
Correct.
come, and artificial intelligence (AI) is here to stay. It's not
It
going
is.
anywhere.
It is.
So the
It
sooner
is.
you get on the train and start figuring out, with the help of people like him right here, with the help of people like Ben Collins right here. If you're scared, I guess you go the same way you go to a pastor and say, Pastor, I'm scared. Now you go to Pastor AI Pastor Ben
So,
Collins.
so yeah, well, I don't know about you, but
I see he's saying no.
I am the AI expert. Come to me as the AI expert. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I will be glad
And
to
say,
have a conversation. I will be glad to
correct.
help you unlock.
Right.
It makes me so excited when I think about, adoption sort of follows a bell curve, right? In the sense that you have on the bell curve, you have this first quadrant where these are the early adopters, who kind of can maybe see where things are going, and then they get on early to kind of help, I would say even educate the model. Because the
Mm-hmm.
AI models that are out there right now, one of the other reasons why I want to bring as many people is to educate the system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, if you want to, let me say, ask a prompt, for example, about, how to cook ndole,
Mm-hmm.
get that feedback, but it may not be the real authentic ndole. So the more
Mm-hmm.
ndole experts get on there to teach the system.
That's what I don't understand. I said, I've Googled this, I've Googled this. I said, no, Google will only go find what is there that has been put in. It
Yes,
peels out those things and says to you
teach
this,
the
instead of you to
system.
go and now sit down with the big encyclopedia we used to have and turn the pages one after the other. It has it there for you. But if you
Yeah.
don't feed it with the material from which you're going to go pull out,
Yeah.
then it's going to be lacking
Exactly.
in things like that.
Teach the system good. You know, some people will try it, ask you the question, will not answer. They'll just be like, okay, this doesn't work, you know, and things like that. So I'm like, think the bigger perspective. So I'm excited for, because we're in that first quarter now, the middle of the bell curve, which is where majority of the change happen. I'm really excited for that part. And I'm trying as much as possible to get people, you know, over to that side. Because, you know, again, it's, if you look at it from the perspective of, it's a reflection of your intentionality. If you're intentionally good, the multiplier effect there is going to be tremendous. Yes. And
Right,
that's
right.
the kind of future, as an eternal optimist, that's the kind of future that I'm
That
hoping
you
for.
foresee. Yeah.
Yes.
I am I started off a skeptic and a more like, I'm not sure about this till I realized, okay,
Right.
well, I'm
Especially as
already
an
doing it.
educator. Especially
Correct.
as an educator.
Right. I'm already doing a ton of that already. Like, as you said, a ton of it is already happening. And then they said, get ahead of it and know what you can,
Right.
what is available there, what the possibilities are, and use them to your advantage.
Correct.
And then find the little loopholes also and try to deal with those. Because now, when they're taking their exams and the little tests, I'm on Dino too. I'm on
Right.
Dino
Right.
looking at their screens. And I can say, hey, where are you
Right.
going?
Right.
Tell the kid, no, 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 I see you're getting off the thing, the page you're supposed to be on. There you are going to Google, whatever it is, get back. And I can just
Ex-
type that message even to the kid, so I don't even have to yell. Type it to
Yeah.
the kid and he sees it. And I say, if you
Bang,
do this,
ding, right there. Yeah.
right, and I'm going
Yeah.
to lock your screen before. So it's amazing where you can
Yeah.
actually set the thing. There's a lot of good in it
There
where
is
you
a
can
lot.
actually, I give them now when I'm not going to be there because I have to travel, I give them, I can schedule it months ahead
Right.
of time, put the date and the
Right.
time there, and be in Batoke in there, and they're here
Well,
in the classroom here, and the thing comes on when they're supposed to do the assignment, they do it and it locks. The kid says,
yeah,
no, I was done. I said, you cannot have been done. Because the
yeah,
thing was supposed to be until 11:59. You tried to turn it in at 12:05. That's why I didn't let you in
yeah,
because it was supposed to stop at that
exactly,
time. So there's so many things
exactly.
out there that the thing can do.
Imagine an enhancement where, and I don't know how, you know, imagine an enhancement where it did that job of monitoring as well, where if it sees a student deviate,
Mhm.
it can call him out or her out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think those are the kind of enhancements that will keep happening in the system, giving you even more time to be in
Correct.
Creepy or to be in Limbe, you know, and things like that, because
And
the
still
system
have the
will
thing
be
work
yes,
working
for
for
good.
you.
Yes,
Very
yes.
interesting. Very interesting. I guess you made me even closer to the leaving the side of the skeptic
Have I
to the
gotten you
okay
on board?
to the to the believer to the okay. And I know who to call when if I'm going to be trapped someday. I'm like, look, what is your take on this thing? Where are we going
Mm,
with this? Because it is there. I mean, I run a blog. I have a public Facebook page. I noticed now that it says it comes and it summarizes the comments.
wow.
There are
Yes.
like 200 and something comments that have been made there. The
Yeah.
AI thing says
Summarize
people
it.
are praising so and so person for doing this. You think
Yeah.
the person knew Mr.
Yeah.
Ngome
Yeah.
before? No, is that it has kind of gone through
Looks
the
at the
comments
patterns.
where
Yeah.
they mentioned this person and mentioned this has summarized it and it's saying, if I want to know about that post, whether I should bother with it,
Right.
it's saying this post is saying, is
Right.
paying homage to the late
Right.
Ikambi Brian, who passed
Right.
away, so and so thing. And some people are
Right.
saying, oh, they miss him, and some people are saying this. A little synopsis
Right. Right.
sitting
Right.
there. I read it and I know what's going on there. And sometimes I myself who put the post there and
Right.
left and went my own way
Right.
can see, hey, what happened while I was gone? Because I can now see
Recap.
that there was, yes, a little dispute started there where somebody said something. And I can read that little summary. When am I going to read 200 comments? You see,
Exactly.
but it has
Exactly.
summarized and given me the general trend of what is
Exactly.
going there. What do I
Exactly.
do now? I kind of know the kind of thing that my audience is interested in.
Exactly.
And I can now put more of that there and the whole
Have
9 yards.
impact. Yes. Correct. That is precise. You have hit the nail on the head so perfectly. Yes.
Yes. Or you might be blabbing and going back and forth there and not understanding why your business or your classes are not going the way they should.
Correct.
Whereas somebody can do this whole, you know,
And get feedback.
I, yes. I don't know how young you are and how much of village things. It's pretty much almost like what they say. You have to go to see the medicine man and he throws cowries
And then
and he's reading them that okay, this is going to be this. This is pretty
that's
much
right.
what the thing is doing.
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's a lot of data. I want to help people also
Right.
understand how it happens because it can
Right.
seem like, again, this whole crazy, how is this possible? But if you take a step back and really think about it, right? Imagine the ability to not only take my brain, my way of thinking, but your brain, your way of thinking, have all these people and then build patterns from that. Gen AI, which is generative AI, is simply the ability of the system to have learned everything that it's learned and then now generate new stuff from it. For us, the equivalent of that is thinking. You know, when you think, sometimes you can kind of picture or conjure something, or dreaming, actually. As a matter of fact, I think it's
Right.
more
Right.
precisely close to dreaming. So it is possible just because of how much information that we've been feeding the system for so long that it has learned. It has learned patterns. It's learned communication
Oh
styles,
yes. Oh
conversation
yes.
styles. It can speak French, English, German,
Right.
like
Right.
all those things. You
Right.
know,
Oh, because I have a rule come and make a comment on the things that I have there in a and there is a hit the translation button right there.
yeah,
And I say what the person was saying. In fact, I tried to respond to one. That was the funniest experience. Respond to one. When after I hit the translation button, I understood that he was saying something positive. I wanted to come and thank them. I start to type. And the writing is going, you know how Arabic characters, the writing goes from right to left instead of left to right.
right,
I'm
right.
typing and I'm seeing this thing going. I'm
It's
like, oh,
going
what is
to
this? I put my T. I want to put the H. The H comes over here instead of
yeah,
TH. Thank you. Going this way. It's going that way. And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow.
So, but
Yeah.
but imagine that now, right? Because now we're looking at the computer side of things. From a human perspective,
Hmm.
think about language, think about
Right.
sound.
Right.
Essentially, our brains are able to interpret these signals into things that make sense. So
Right.
it's the human equivalent, essentially, of the neural network, as we talked about earlier, and then the neurons in your brain.
Hmm.
There's another thing, an element I'm going to add here too, which is cryptocurrency. I don't know where do you stand on crypto? What do you know about cryptocurrency?
Nothing. And I don't even want to know.
But this is part of the fear element. I'm
Uh-huh.
very glad you said that and you're expressing yourself. That's
Hmm.
the fear element. But
Right.
there is a pattern between neurons in your brain, right? And
Hmm.
those patterns that they make, neural networks in artificial intelligence and those patterns that they make, and crypto. Because in crypto,
Right.
you talk about something called a blockchain. What a blockchain is again, imagine a block and a chain of blocks. It's the block itself is the neuron, then
Hmm.
connected to other
So
blocks.
other little bits and pieces. I
Correct.
just, by that kind of time, by the time I hear that kind, I'm saying, look, look, look.
Do you shop, do you
I'm
shop, do you shop on Amazon?
right. I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, so let me attempt this, right? Just let me throw this out there again, not trying to convince you, not trying to just putting information out there
Hmm.
and which is researchable, which is whatever. Again,
Hmm.
leverage technology.
Hmm.
So you shop on Amazon. Let me say you find this, you find a
Yes.
bottle, you like
Hmm.
this, you put
Right.
it in your cart.
In my card. Yeah.
It's a digital card. It's not a real card, right?
No.
Okay. When you go to check out, right?
Right.
What Amazon, you click pay and then that thing turns. What
Right.
Amazon is essentially doing in that split second is
Uh-huh.
talking to your bank to make sure
Right.
you have the money inside.
Right.
You collect it, right? Because if you don't have the money inside, the transaction is not going to go through.
Right.
But
For
imagine the
sure.
speed at which that is happening, right?
Yes.
Talking to your bank to make sure that you have the money,
Hmm.
they collect it, and then they put this bottle in your cart. Now,
Correct.
improve the process so much because you get it the next day. Is that,
Right. For and then they charge you like I have the Amazon Prime thing. So
yeah,
it now has to come. And then it starts to show you the next time. It says, do you want to just buy this again? So
exactly,
it has stored the stuff. I emptied my cart and bought my things. The cart was
exactly,
empty, but it
exactly.
remembers what I bought. It's trying to
Created
ask
a
me,
record.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
trying
it
to ask
created a
me,
record.
right.
A bunch of those records, right? Because now think about from a global perspective, it's not just you shopping online. There are
Definitely
billions,
not.
exactly, billions of people, right? So if you take those records and put them in a ledger, like an accounting ledger, right? You take those ledgers and you put them in a block. That's what a blockchain is. It's just a series of those connected transactions globally, right? So when you talk cryptocurrency, the one that started all of this is Bitcoin. So when you talk
Right,
Bitcoin, it is essentially these computers from computer to computer, like your computer, my computer, verifying that on this day at this time or whatever, you actually bought this thing because you exchange money into the system for a physical good. No money ever
right.
hand. You did not take, like $5 and actually pay
Cash. Mhm.
digital. Right. It was all digital. So
Yes.
is what Bitcoin, that was the premise of it. That's how it started. Other, coins have come out around. I cannot speak for the other ones per se, but essentially that is what cryptocurrency and the one that started Bitcoin is all about, is the monetization of those online transactions.
Okay. Okay. Ah, I've heard an earful,
I know.
an
It's a lot
earful,
of info.
and yes, it's a lot to process. That's why it's a good thing that you have your consultancy there existing and your coaching services that are there. So somebody you can work somebody one
Right.
on one
Right.
through this whole process to get it better and grasp it better. Because it's like anything else that comes in that is new. I remember the time when they told us stories about how people used to say, don't take me a picture. It means you're taking my soul. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
wow.
And now all of us are there with our
I
cell
remember
phones.
that.
They used to say, oh, no, the people were running away from taking pictures back in what I don't know, in the 1900s, their early
Right.
days, when the quote unquote white man came to and they're like, take a picture. They're like, don't allow him to take a picture. He's taking part of your soul with you. Imagine that now. All of us are doing selfies.
Right. Right.
Anything happens, we take out our cell phones and we are recording everything, and
And they
nobody
were
gives it a
recording.
second thought.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
become
That's
second
true.
nature. So maybe,
That's true.
hopefully, uh, as time
And
progresses,
yeah, but I think this trend also highlights something which I don't know if people really think about per se, which is how, the intersection of, technology now and memories, because essentially now you have memories like facts of things that actually happened, right?
mhm,
You have this documented journey. If you're somebody who's been documenting your life, you essentially have this real journey of yourself documented and
I
captured through
do.
technology. Yeah.
Right. Google Web Albums shows me the things. It says this is that it puts the date right there under
Mhm.
the thing. This is the date of the picture. This is the one you took, and I can actually see how I have aged my own self
Mhm.
from the things that is there because it recognizes faces, you see.
Exactly.
So when I pull up a
Exactly.
face right there, it's able to find all the other pictures that I have in my archives of
Similarly.
that person's
Correct.
face. So it is an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing.
Correct.
I am one. I may not say sold out, but I'm sold.
And the downside, because let's also like explore a little bit the downside. The downside you notice fundamentally to are human things. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's not, I guess, just always think that there are bad actors out there. It's
right,
an
right,
unfortunate thing, but it
right,
is bad
right.
actors. And it's again that human element in the loop. We are not perfect beings, right? If
No,
no matter how good intentions you may be, there will be some other people out there who,
correct, correct.
good
You have
intentions.
a car. It's an amazing thing. It takes you from point A to point B. But there's somebody who goes and drinks in a bar,
Right,
gets behind the wheel,
right.
and then causes an accident and kills a whole bunch of people. That does
Listen,
not make the car bad. It is
exactly.
the person and his irresponsibility that caused the trouble. Is the
Exactly.
thing. The
Exactly.
essence of it itself is not what's to blame.
Exactly. So I
Mhm.
hope that, as we're also evolving, that's what I'm saying. There's that self-consciousness part of things. Be, self-conscious enough to say, hey, first of all, leverage this tool for yourself, right? It can really enhance you. It can really improve situations if you're curious about knowledge. I'm imagining a farmer, going back even to Cameroon as an example. I'm imagining even a farmer who has, let me say, a bad year of harvest, who is able
Right.
to use technology and say, you know what, this year was not good because of XYZ. What can I do differently? And have
Next
this
time around.
give him, kind of suggestions. Maybe even
Yep.
take a picture of the terrain and say, okay, can I do some like different fertilizer, different strategies and things like that, right? And this is somebody that would otherwise not have been able to do that without the help of,
Correct.
you see.
Correct.
So I hope that that curiosity aspect, the intentionality about using it to improve, is kind of what tips the scale and really
Right.
things better for.
Sells the rest of us out. That gets us all to buy in
Mhm.
wholeheartedly.
Exactly, exactly. We're all better if we are supporting each other. I'm
Right.
in my probabilities of, of different scenarios, I don't see us supporting each other ever being a bad thing. I really
No,
don't.
it cannot be. It cannot be. We are created already like that to
Right,
be supportive and to live in communities and societies where each person's strength is supposed to help build
right,
the community, and no one person has it all or knows it all. And the
right,
various components make up the whole. It's generally
right.
how it is.
Exactly, exactly. So, I was also going to add that in terms of my coaching, because I'm getting to the point also of, and I'm putting it here first, I suppose, in terms of potential opportunities, right, for
Uh-huh.
hiring and otherwise, in the sense that some of the outcomes of the coaching program are twofold.
Mm-hmm.
Because of where we're going and the trends in employment becoming
Mm-hmm.
more skill based. There's a lot of trends that are saying that we're moving away from the traditional way of employing people, which is fit into this box. We want
Right.
this particular thing versus
Right.
this is where my strengths are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we identify those trends and things like that, one of the outcomes of the company here is that you work with us, right? Our mission, as I said, is to bring about equity in the world. How
Right.
your strength plays to that, I will gladly work with you, right? So that is one of the outcomes of the coaching program, is that you get to work here at the company. The other outcome
Mm-hmm.
is that you realize what you're naturally good at, and you go ahead to start your own business. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
of a win-win solution.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's one of the pieces of the business that I'm really excited about, is adapting to this new way to work.
Right. So do you, just asking, just curious, do you have an office, a physical office, or is it just something that you do online? Is it all virtual?
I've been working from home since 2019.
So so if you
I've been
hired
working.
somebody, it's not as if they have to move to Dallas to work there. They
My
work
mom
from
is
what?
current. My mom is currently in Canada. We
Yes.
meet every Tuesday. Like, that is our.
Right. Right. And
So
talk
that
about
is
every.
the work of the
Mm-hmm.
future. You don't need to be besides me here, right?
Exactly.
As
Exactly.
long as we're intentional about, again, intentionality, as long as we're intentional about, we're going to block 1 hour, sit and
Right.
each other about
Correct.
things that are really important that we're trying to do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's essentially what it's about. I can be in China, I can be in Dubai, I could, that the online world, artificial intelligence helps us meet virtually. I
Correct. Oh,
the,
that is how some of us did our teaching during COVID.
during COVID,
You
exactly.
got lessons. The kids came on, you did the lesson, you let them work on the thing, and goodbye. That's how it was. So
Exactly.
if there's something that the pandemic did to help us with in that direction, that's what it was. To tell you that
Exactly.
there's really stuff you can do without physically necessarily
Being
meeting
there. Yes, yes.
face to
That's why,
face.
again, as I said, excited when my mom retired last year, because I wanted to bring her into this era to help her understand that, a job is not you necessarily going into a physical
Driving
office.
to the office.
Yeah, there's a need for that, right? In certain instances.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
at times, again, it's about that time, that blocking that space and saying, being intentional about what you're building, your goals and things like that. There is something called an Oculus. Do you know what an Oculus is? The virtual reality.
Uh-uh.
So
Mm-mm.
an Oculus made by Meta. Meta owns Facebook.
Okay, okay, yep. I know about them.
So they make this VR, virtual reality headset, called an Oculus. And what that is, essentially where we're going, because it's not there right now, but the trends and
Uh-huh.
where we're going, is that it's a digital representation of our physical world. So you
Wow.
put an
Just give me, hold that thought right there. Just give me a tiny second. Let me hit the pause thing for a tiny second. Right. Sorry for that little break. We had been sitting here and talking away, and it was getting darker and darker, and I saw my face just disappearing. So I had to go and turn on the lights. I don't need to
that's
keep
a good
talking.
forewarning for me, because I need to watch the time and see when it's
Right,
gonna.
right, right. We both are people who chat quite a bit, so I could do this for the rest of the evening, even though we have to stop at some point. But please pick up from where you left off.
All right. So we were talking about the Meta
Yes.
Oculus.
Nice.
which is a virtual reality headset. Again, Meta
Right.
is a company that owns Facebook,
Facebook.
WhatsApp, So what the Oculus is a virtual reality headset that sort of projects you because you're seeing first person, right? You're seeing how you're seeing now, but you're in
Right.
and because it's a virtual reality headset is digital. So, and that digital universe is a representation, is getting to that point where it is a representation of our physical world, right? So all this to connect with our prior conversation about the future of work is that
Mm-hmm.
you would just put that headset on and you'll be, because now in this virtual environment, you build your avatar. That is your, your online self, you go,
Presents, yes. We we, we,
yes,
we, we we make them. I gave mine a big old head tie and some
exactly,
earrings
exactly,
to look
exactly.
realistically like me with my glasses.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that version of you is what you see or what you are when you wear that Oculus,
Mm-hmm.
you see. And believe you me, there are already concerts that are happening in this universe. Like people will wear this headset and be attending conferences, be attending concerts, be attending classes, and things like that. There's already
You
a
see,
different universe.
I shouldn't. You see, this makes me think about our country things that they used to say, and then now say the person if you fly for night, you go do the whatever it is that they're supposed to be seeing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just, you can't quite explain the science of it. It even makes me think about the fact that you used to talk about, okay, how can you have an all-knowing God?
yeah,
If we can know this much as mortals, you can imagine what must be out there. That is that, because
correct.
all of this stuff that we're using, no
It's just here.
real
Yeah,
new element has been created. Is and making use of what has already been out there and
yeah.
figuring out what new thing we can do with it.
Exactly. And
What
and
new
to add
thing?
to the perspective that you're giving is realize that, for example, Earth is just one planet out of
Yeah,
this nine
the
planets
whole
so far,
universe. Yeah,
you
it's
know,
mind-boggling.
it's
It is
mind-boggling.
mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. I
You
tell
know?
you, you
Yeah,
cannot
and,
even
and
begin to.
now and now we are already even at that point where there's a space center now. They're building towards a space center, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Elon Musk's rocket X, SpaceX, has already had a craft that, was able to come back and land, almost on autopilot, and things like that. So and here's an added perspective to cryptocurrency, right? So if you think 100 years from now, if you try to
Mm-hmm.
imagine 100 years from now, where there will be more electric cars on the road, right? More self-driving cars and things like that. When you're gonna go to those space centers, you're not gonna take dollars. You know what I mean? Like nobody will carry dollars and say they want to go. No, you pay with cryptocurrency. So that's another.
That is where that you just hit the limit of my own possibility of grasping anything. This ma, I just like, okay, there's only so much I can handle for the time being. Like, no,
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
I'm still telling you that I'm not getting, this me is not getting in the car that has no driver in the thing, because I'm thinking this is a machine. If anything happens and the lights don't work, there's power
Work.
outage, what is it going to do? And all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So I think about those things. Yeah. I guess I'm the kind of one who would have been back in the day, would have been the last to get on the airplane,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, how is this really going to supposed to work?
You
But I
know, I've
guess
jumped,
everything.
I've jumped out of an airplane before. I've gone skydiving.
No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, like my kids that they do. I said to them, only show me the pictures after you've already been and come back safely. Don't start taking me pictures while you're out there. It's doing zip lining, bungee jumping. I'm not that kind. I need to be terra firma, both feet placed on solid ground down here.
That's funny.
So if I cannot help it, then I mean, I'm not going to swim my way back to Cameroon. So I will get on that airplane, but it's not my
Right.
favorite thing to do.
Right,
Not my
right.
favorite thing
And
to do.
and we're all living vicariously through each other to
I,
say that even if you don't do those things, some of us are out there who will do it for
and
you.
thank God for you who are doing and then
Exactly.
discovering things which
Bridging
are
the
helping
gap
the rest of
and
us.
bridging the gap.
Correct, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go on forever and a day if we
Oh,
don't find a way to kind of close this down somehow. But it's a very, very interesting and mind-opening, mind-boggling, mind-expanding chat that we've had. And I
yeah.
hope other mummies like me who are sitting out there listening are going like, maybe I see where this is going, and maybe less skeptical. and then not miss out on something which is out there. It's like somebody sitting here in this day and time now saying, I will not drive a car, I will not use a phone, I would not do, I guess
Right.
you're
Right.
entitled to that, but
Right.
you would be missing out on a lot. You
Right.
would be.
Think about the
So
fact that this conversation, for example, has been captured from different locations, right?
mhm,
But captured online, and it's gonna
right,
be there,
right,
hopefully, again, to educate people, and
correct,
it's gonna just be all about that quest for information, quest for knowledge, and
right,
again,
right.
some people are gonna watch it, some other people are not gonna watch it, but at the end of the day, this is for me what life is all about.
It
Just
is, it is. And
yeah,
it comes to that, many of us who have not been able to go home for funerals and things, when they put the thing on Zoom there for us to see, it helps us with the closure.
right,
You see right down to when there's the gathering of the church and the burial is happening. Sometimes it's a happy event, you're not able to be there, but you see the whole event happening. But how did I know to tell you at the beginning of this show that they're out there in Cameroon dancing away? I
right.
sat here to dancing Malabar. When they were dancing there too, I took I was going one day Malabar too from
Right,
here. So we cannot deny that there is a lot of good to the whole thing.
right,
The whole
right,
artificial intelligence thing, I hope for most of us, we learn to see what it is, the good that there is to it, which far outweighs the
right,
negative. And then we have to find other ways to safeguard our identities, because that's the next thing, identity theft, the
right.
hacking, the stuff. Unfortunately, when it happens to you, it's hard for you to see anything, any part of the good left. And you just
Exactly.
have a bad experience. And
Exactly.
sometimes that makes you forget all of the good side of the whole thing. But realistically,
Right.
artificial intelligence, I would say, is an amazing thing. It's an
Right.
amazing thing.
And be human, be as human as possible. Build good relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would say that's the other thing with me is, in this one life that I've had, I've been blessed by my family, by
Mm-hmm.
friends, just having these deep connections with people who inspire me and motivate me to
Mm-hmm.
continue to express myself, right?
Right. Right.
Grow in harmony and just grow in the hope of a better tomorrow for all of us. So I think build human connections, those come from a place of curiosity when you meet somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
learn about them. Like, you may have people who, I think at the top of the call you said you may not necessarily agree with them, but we have to be able to talk at the end of
Correct.
the day, right? You
Correct.
share your perspective, I share my perspective, and then we find a
A
way.
middle ground somewhere, what
Yes.
will work for the general, the common good, for the good
Yes.
of the majority. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. So, I again thank you for giving me this opportunity. I thank you for listening to my ramblings,
No,
and I thank you
it's very enlightening. I will sure call you even after this. I just talk about this, and when something comes, I'll be sure to call you and say, hey,
indeed,
what about this? How do you see this? What's your perspective on this as things
indeed.
change, because they're evolving,
They're
continue to
evolving.
evolve as we
Yeah.
speak. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Collins there, Ben Collins Asongwe. If you need to know more, go find him. Go find him. The cell phone that you have on there that you're really using to watch this, when the show ends, just Google that name,
Yeah.
enter it there on any search engine, you'll see more about him. The picture you're likely to see is one with him in his suit, looking looking very spiffy in that suit.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for what you
uh,
do for your community, really.
my
It's
pleasure.
amazing.
My
Thank
pleasure. Every little bit counts. Somebody's going to listen to this and it will help them. Just like with every other show, somebody comes back and says, I needed to hear that. And that's why we do this. So people can get to know pretty much whatever aspect there is out there that helps to move our community forward and makes it better for all of us, even if it's one little tiny step at a time. So
Indeed.
thank you for also making the time to come and sit here and talk to us. And I definitely wish you only the very best with the whole program, with the consulting and the coaching. And that I'm amazed and curious to also see where you would be in the next few years with everything going in the direction that it's going in. So
I'm
thank you,
excited for
listeners.
it. I'm
I
excited for
am too. I am for you. I am for you too. Right. So thank you, listeners, viewers. If you have any questions, you send them our way. We could always have him come back. If you send questions, feedback where I believe he could be best placed to respond to them and take certain angles that you did not hear discussed today, you know what to do. I too am sitting on there if you can find me too and contact me and let me know what it is that I can pass on to him or contact him directly. So this has been a very, very interesting edition of the Music and Music Show. And this is Egbembiwan Monjibo closing off and saying goodbye and see you all some other time, probably with the same guest, the next guest, you never know. So just come on back and keep listening, keep viewing. So, son Ben Collins, thank you. Very, very proud of you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your party.
Yes, I'm heading out there. I'm heading out to go show up in some other place as well. All right, you take care now.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.